Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and I welcome all of you back to another rage video where you thought I forgot all about it, ladies and gentlemen, but I'm telling you right now, I haven't. And you know what? Actually, you know what? While we're on the subject, I think I've got to get this out. I think I still have it, but I'm just going to take a look for my Number of the Beast shirt. So I feel like I kind of have to do this properly. Or I don't know whether I got rid of it because it was too small or anything like that. But it doesn't really strike me as the sort of thing I would just get rid of. Like, do I? No, I'm pretty sure I don't have it anymore. That sucks because of what I'm about to tell you guys next. I think, fittingly enough, we should start, speaking of Number of the Beast, I decided to give you guys a little bit of a heads up on this, because we are checking out the live performance of Hallowed Be Thy Name by the one and only Iron Maiden. Now, here's some things you might be interested to know, ladies and gentlemen. I'm recording this video on the 22nd of March 2022. This is significant because this means today, ladies and gentlemen, is the 40th birthday for Number of the Beast. Number of the Beast is now 40 years old. And maybe you could say this is, we're celebrating because apparently Hallowed Be Thy Name was released 2 whole days before Number of the Beast came out. So in many ways, Hallowed Be Thy... But that's... How amazing is that, ladies and gentlemen? That Hallowed Be Thy Name, a 40-year-old song... Listen, there are perfectly good reasons why songs like Hallowed Be Thy Name, after 40 years, are still being talked about. And don't get me wrong, ladies and gentlemen, Hallowed Be Thy Name is... I kind of want to give you guys a little bit of a trip down memory lane, because I first heard this song back in 2018. It was like, I just started making YouTube videos about music, and then this was the first song outside Metallica I listened to. It was the very first time I'd ever listened to Iron Maiden. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't think my feet have ever touched the ground since, because I've explored some of the very best, and even at their worst, Iron Maiden is maybe not substantially. Like the Angel and the Gambler is still that shit pisses me off for a few reasons, but no matter what. Now, technically, now strictly speaking, ladies and gentlemen, there are maybe a couple of other songs by Iron Maiden that me personally I would rank a little bit higher than Hallowed Be Thy Name. But if we're going to talk about a more general consensus, I would absolutely say Hallowed Be Thy Name has got to be at least second. And number one, how exactly, what would be a good contender for number one, the more I think about it? Because there's quite a lot of things I would have to weigh up, if you know what I mean. There's stuff on Brave New World, I think is absolutely top tier. There's stuff like Trooper is a classic in its own right. But then there's the stuff that nobody talks about. I mean, there was an absolutely fantastic number on Peace of Mind and Caught Somewhere in Time, Alexander the Great, Loneliness. The list goes on, and I think that, again, that stands, that really puts into perspective just how decorative Iron Maiden truly is. And one of these days, ladies and gentlemen, I will promise you, I will do a retrospective on Iron Maiden. I will do on every single song they've ever done, from every single album. And I haven't even checked out their latest albums. It was one that had... Evil Eddie as a shogun warrior. So I don't know what's going on there, but you know what? It's the fact that I'm doing this after all these years. and I never really get tired of it. I mean, I'm going to I'll roll out the red carpet. I will tell you guys just everything you possibly need to know about why this is so special. So with all that being said and done, if you guys want to check out the original video for yourselves, links will all be in the description down below. Steve Harris, I'm just gonna. Can we just like get a round of applause for Steve Harris, Bruce, Adrian, Dave, and even Cliff Burr, who I do know Cliff Burr. This was the last album Cliff Burr did work on as the drummer, and who is sadly no longer with us. But let's just can we get like a round of applause for them right now? Because you know what? I think they know what's up. So, hallowed be thy name. In 3, 2, 1, and... Oh, come on. You know what? 8 seconds in. It took... I remember even back when I first listened to this, it took all of 2 seconds. And I was never really the same again. This guy right here symbolizes this perfectly. He knows what's coming. He's a part of the experience. I think just the straight up the fun, the enjoyment you can get out of Iron Maiden is literally just, it's either being there or being there like in spirit. You know what I'm saying? Like we're somehow in 1982 at the, where was this held anyway? This Royal, I know this doesn't look like the Royal Albert Hall. I know there might have still been like touring in London or something like that. I know they're like from West Hampstead and stuff like that, but I'm getting ahead of myself. I know what you guys came for.
I'm waiting in my cold cell when the bell begins to chime, reflecting on my past life.
You know what? I can't even do it. I'm turning this up again. You know what's like really striking already, ladies and gentlemen? I could rehearse this, I could recite this entire song word for word, but I don't really think you watch this just to hear me do the lyrics. I think you want to listen to this man here, the legendary Bruce Dickinson, do that. So I'll shut up for the rest of the song, I promise.
And it doesn't have much time, 'cause at 5 o'clock they take me to the gallows pole. The sands of time for me are running low.
Good Lord. Ladies and gentlemen, do I literally need to like say anything more about this? Because let me just... I think it's almost like... How exactly do I... Now, I just kind of want to ask a few questions, and maybe you would consider this like a really strange way to begin this next part. Do you guys honestly think this is the greatest heavy metal song ever made? That's a genuine question. Is that... Do you think that's really the best? Because... Now, some people I might say no, it isn't, because there's a lot of really good stuff out there. I mean, there's got to be like something, maybe even going beyond Megadeth and Metallica or even Overkill. There's got to be something out there that I've never touched upon that's even better than that. Even if we go all the way back to Genesis, if we discussed the Kinks, and many say they are the grandfathers to heavy metal as we know it. But okay, let's just, I want to go through this like step by step just so I've got this covered. Hallowed Be Thy Name is the story of a guy. Well, it's a little bit self-explanatory, you might say. It's a story about a guy who's been sentenced to death by the gallows, and this is just recounting the final moments of his life where he's waiting to be taken to his final resting place, and it goes from being somber to doom 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 doom, and then as soon as we get to the sands of time for me are running low is when the song comes to life, and I mean really in a big way. And also, who even back in 1982. Who in their right mind do you think could have held on to a note as long as Bruce could? I'm pretty sure even men like Tom Jones would have struggled to have held a note that long. And Tom Jones nearly ruptured his vocal cords trying to do Thunderball. And I would not even begin to think about how many times it took Bruce to get that down. Mind you, with that being said, Bruce had plenty of experience. He worked for a group called Samson before coming into Iron Maiden, which I've talked about maybe about once or twice in the past, and whatever. Anyway, so what I found, but then it erupts to when the priest comes to read me the last rites, take a look through the bars of the last sites. It's fast. It gets to the point. It needs to establish a scene in such a way that we need to understand the gravity of the situation. In fact, it's possibly even when our prisoner begins to understand, holy shit, this is really happening. It's almost kind of similar to I think it's Sweating Bullets, I think, by Megadeth, where it's a story about a guy who gets sent to prison and he realizes, oh shit, where the hell am I? He talks and well, actually, speaking of Sweating Bullets, Hallowed Be Thy Name also goes into detail about this guy saying he's innocent of a world that has gone very wrong for me. Can it be that there's some sort of error, hard to stop the surmounting First off, can I just... I know I've probably said this before, but wordsmiths like Steve Harris using words like surmounting terror and... Well, I just really like the... I like the way he just... I like the fact that he used the word surmounting, just because... Listen, I'm a friggin' English nerd, alright? I will absolutely take words you will never hear spoken of in the real world any day of the week. This is why I've always sort of like referred to Iron Maiden as the poet laureates of metal, because they use this... And again, I'm pretty sure there are other groups out there, don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to undermine them, but there's the way they're being used. There's the context of what these words are being used for, and in what song they're being used to do all the rest. And I especially love, like, as we get further, it becomes a little bit less desperate, but it still surmounts that surmounts. There you are. I'm starting to use it. It establishes that time is running out. As the guards march me out to the courtyard, somebody cries with a cell, God be with you. If there's a God, why has he let me go? And you can begin to think, this guy, what if this guy really is innocent? You know what? Now what? What did he do to deserve being put on death row? As I walk, my life drifts before me, and through the end is near, I'm not sorry. Catch my soul, it's willing to fly away. There you are, I'm not sorry. So, what exactly has he got to be? This is the type of shit I live for. Ambiguity, and before, don't get me wrong, ladies and gentlemen, because I point stuff like that out because this is the sort of thing that you'll see groups like Tool use. Tool use a lot of ambiguity in their lyrics, and there's like in a lot of their songs, I should say, and there are half a dozen groups aside that do the same as well. Tool just so happened to be the one that really stuck out to me at this moment, and then it gets like really kind of dark for this last part. Mark my words, believe my soul lives on. Don't worry now that I have gone. I've gone beyond to seek the truth. So has he come back to the earth as a ghost? Is there something he hasn't like done? So he's now a haunted spirit. When you know that your time is close at hand, maybe you'll begin to understand life down here is just a strange illusion. So life down here. So is this meant to be heaven? Is this meant to be earth? Has he come back from the dead? I was going to say Jesus there for one moment because, strangely enough, is this? But I know this. I've never thought about it like that before. Hallowed be thy name, something out of the Bible. So, is this actually about Jesus' crucifixion? I mean, I'm not entirely sure if like anyone out of Iron Maiden is religious. I don't think Steve Harris is, or because I'm waiting in my coat, reflecting on my past life. Because at 5, maybe not because they said gallows pole and 5 o'clock because it in biblical terms it says that Jesus Christ was crucified at 3 o'clock. So, okay, well, I suppose that solves that riddle. Now, listen, the lyrics are a big part in what I look out for in a song, from the language, the way, how it runs off each other, but it's a lot more than just that. There's the hooks that like pull your rib cage apart. There's the fact that, again, it goes from somber and slow, from doom 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 doom, and then it just goes almost out of nowhere. We're from Bruce holding on to. In fact, you know what? I'll try and do it. The sands of time for me are running low. Running low, yeah. I think I did pretty well there, actually. But and then Bruce is frantic of as the priest comes with leaving the last rite. All of this, it comes together. It uses its own brilliant techniques, and it's very strong unpredictability in its music to tell a story. And that's like that's what I think really cements Iron Maiden as one of the absolute greats, because it's not just about excellent story. It's not about an excellently written song. It certainly is, don't get me wrong, but it's everything else involved, which almost understates the point, because it's the production, it's the way these guys look. I mean, all of them have got long hair. All of them just look like they've just They just came out of college, and did you think any of them thought that like their careers would go off as well as it did? I mean, let's face it, ladies and gentlemen. In the time since 1982, Bruce alone is a pilot. He takes up fencing. He's kicked cancer's arse, and he is loved and respected by the metal community. After 40 years, and you know what, probably another 40 years, and he will still be talked about and respected. Steve will always win my admiration for writing. So I mean, besides, it's not just "Hallowed Be Thy Name." It's even in Steve's bad material, there's a lot of good ideas in there that sort of get a little bit overshadowed by the bad execution of some things, like Future 11 or something. I think Future 9 or Future 11. That was like one of their worst outings. But in fact, you know what? Actually, I've just remembered something. You know what? I may not still have the shirt any longer, but you know what I do have? I still have this, ladies and gentlemen. Number of the Beast. Invaders, Children of the Damned, The Prisoner, 22 Akiev Avenue, The Number of the Beast, Run to the Hills, Gangland, Total Eclipse, and Hallowed Be Thy Name. Happy birthday, Number of the Beast. Happy birthday. So anyway, I hope all of you guys have enjoyed this reaction video. Please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section down below. Let me know what you guys thought of Hallowed Be Thy Name for yourselves. And I will look forward to seeing all of you guys in the next video. May the sands of time run for you forever. Take care and good night.